Hello, I'm Seerat, and today I'm here to discuss display. So, display is very different from all the other activities. Display is bought in a CPM model for each 1,000 impressions. CPM means cost per mile. So, if we want to know that is display actually making a difference, we can't do that using a click based model, right? So for that, we have post impression model. Post impression model is used to see the impact of a display, and how so is if a person views an impression. Let's say that a person is navigating through web and he saw an ad. So he viewed an impression. And after a period of time, like let's say after 2, 3 days, the user visits the website. And in that visit, the user browsed around, added a couple of products to the cart, and then ultimately bought it. So that visit to the website resulted in a conversion. Then that conversion is going to give some attributed value back to the impression that the user saw. So this is basically what post impression model do. Now, some things to notice here is that post impression gives the value for an impression without actually analyzing the impact. So, if the users saw the impression as long as 29 days ago, it will still give the impression the value. But the question here is, does the particular impression actually have an impact? Like, is there any impact for the impression? That might not be true because every day a user see nearly from 3,000 to 12,000 pieces of advertisement, and we can be sure that not each of them will have a significant impact on the user. So as a business, we want to understand what is our ROI, right? What is our return of investment? And how does it change the perception of user, right? So if the user saw an impression, is it creating any impact? Like, is it making the user more likely to purchase our product or to buy our service in the future? So how can we do that? So we do that in data with 3 steps. First, we need to see every impression. We want the data at user level so that we can say which user saw the impression, like user 1, 2, 3, 4 saw the impression. The next thing that we want is to know the campaign information. We need campaign information to understand which campaign was viewed by the user. Was it campaign A or was it campaign B? So that we can say that which of them was successful. Then the third thing that we need is to know that what was the time at which the user saw the impression. And for that, we need a timestamp so that we can identify that point with respect to the context in the user's journey. Once we have all this data, we can put the impressions within the journey that we have in web analytics. And then we can see various things such as visits, like visits made by users who saw the impressions first, or the conversions made by users who saw the impressions first. And one thing which is often missed is that we can also see the impressions that did not resulted in a visit or a conversion yet. So we need to consider impressions that did not resulted in action within the calculation. Now we have the value of impression, and we have two things: value and how much has it impacted the user journey, Like how did it impacted the consumer until it reached the conversion point. And the second thing that we have is we have the value of clicks, because a lot of time display is clickable. So we have the value of impressions and its effect on the consumer. And secondly, we have the value of clicks. Now, the click rate is very low. It is 0.05%. And if we remove all the misclicks, then it will be 0.0025%. So now we have the value of display clicks and display impressions. We can total the both, and then it will give us the performance that display has given us. Now, once we have understood that whether display is working or not, we can segment it down to the campaign and individual ads to get more detailed data to understand the idea about the actual value of display throughout the consumer journey, which can help us to make some key decisions. Now, using this data, we can also decide the frequency of the ads. As we have the attributed value of the impression, it can tell us that after how many impression user generally converts. So we can have that information, right? And using this, we can set an appropriate value for the frequency, like how many times should an impression be made, which can most likely result in a conversion. So we discussed about display in today's video. Thank you.